dangerous.
Bad feeling about this.
You don't seem to understand something.
The thing that I like most about being a dad is that I see that I'm about to impact the world. That's what's up. What's up? It's your boy Humble Dad back with another edition of Humble Dad Podcast. It's gonna be a great show tonight. Why? Because I said so, as usual, right? And we're gonna be talking about women control access to marriage. Do they? Do they control access to marriage? The reason why I asked that because I'm pondering this particular conversation and topic because in these airwaves that we call YouTube. People say that men have access to marriage and women have access to or control access to sex, right? So I want to see what the panel is was thinking, and we'll talk about it as we always do. And our conversational piece to start off is going to be, what karaoke song would you sing? What song would you sing at karaoke? What song would you sing at karaoke? And we're going to start with Mr. Brandon.
Hey, what's going on,
What's
y'all?
up?
Thank you for having me on again. Yeah.
Hey, listen.
So let me.
I'm glad you
What's
back.
up? For sure. So to answer your question, the song I would sing in karaoke would be "Nice and Slow" by Usher.
Okay.
That's the
Tell me more.
first song. That's the first song I memorized as a child. I remember it when it came out on the radio. I was a little kid, and that's the first song I remember actually memorizing all the words for. And that's always pops up in my head.
That's what's up.
I ain't know what half the stuff meant, but I memorized the song at the time.
You know what it mean now? I'm
Mhm.
just kidding. All right, that's a bet. Welcome to the podcast, bro. And then we're gonna welcome Miss Tamia. What's going on?
Hey. Okay.
You gotta
If I
there
was
you
to,
go.
can you
You
see
gotta get in
me?
the
Okay.
camera.
I'm trying. It's my iPad. Okay, there I go. If I was to sing a song, I'd sing Cupid by 112. Or 112.
Man, you old enough to know
Cupid.
that song?
Yes.
Okay. That
I
was
mean,
like
my mom would
90.
play it.
That was like 90
That's my
something.
favorite song. That's my
Okay.
favorite song.
Cupid. Okay. I see where we at now. I see where we at. Okay. All right. We're gonna welcome to the stage Mr. Prototype.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Chilling. What's going on, homie?
Man, living a dream.
As
So
always.
my song, my karaoke song would be Lottie Dottie, the Snoop Dogg version. That would be my karaoke song.
I'm trying to remember the words.
Yeah.
Why that song? What's significant about that one?
I don't know, man. It's like it's a great story tells. The Slick Rick version is cool. I like the Slick Rick, but the story tells and it kind of relates to like my day as a teenager. So when that song came out, that's kind of I could relate to it. You know what I'm saying? And it just kind of it hit home for me.
That makes sense. I appreciate that. And we're gonna welcome to the stage back again, Miss Penny.
Hello.
Penny, for your thoughts.
A penny for your thoughts. My song would be Mary J. Blige, "I'm Going Down." And I'm picking that song because, like Brandon, I know all the words to it, so I won't mess it up. Also, if I don't hit it, like the high notes, people in the crowd gonna give it to me. Like they're gonna sing it with me. So
Okay.
they're gonna sing it for me. So I ain't gotta do if I'm nervous or anything. Everybody in the crowd gonna chime in. They're gonna sing the song with me. So we gonna get it done. It's a vibe.
That's It's a vibe. I've been hearing that word. That's so okay. I got you. All right, and then welcome to the stage, my homie, my friend, Mr. Sir Hale speaks. What's going on, homie?
HG, how are you, sir?
I'm great, Doc. I'm great.
Yep. So if I was gonna sing, because I play the piano as well, I gotta go with my dog. I gotta go with Tank. I Can't Make You Love Me. I gotta sing that one. I'm going with that one.
It's a hard
What's why?
one.
Because you know what I mean. If you're gonna sing karaoke, man, you gotta make people feel something. You understand what I'm saying? That's one of them songs you put your soul into that and you feel something.
You must know how to sing, sir, because that's a hard song to do.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, Sir Hale, he can sing. He's sung back up for some people. So
it's true though. I really am a musician. So yep, I really would sing that song.
Penny's like, okay, I think I need a chorus.
That's a hard one. It's a hard song.
Can you sing, Penny?
No. But I feel like
okay.
if I would have had lessons when I was younger, I feel like I could have made it. You know.
Oh, okay.
I got the
That's
rhythm.
funny. My song is,
you know.
I'm gonna have to go check that song out again. My song would be Amazing Grace, because that's the song I know, and I've been singing that song for a very long time. And I think it's because my mom would sing it a lot. My mom sang to us a lot when we were kids. And so that's the song that I know for sure. And then they got a couple high notes in it. I'm not concerned about no prototype.
Wait, humble there. So we doing gospels? I'm sorry. Let me do something with Yolanda Adams or Kurt Franklin.
No.
Let me come up with another song. Let me do
It's okay, y'all ratchet. It's okay, bro. It's okay.
We
Y'all
ratchet.
You know what I'm saying? You just tell it what your heart's desire is. No problem. And then we got some people in the backstage that'll come here shortly. So good stuff, man. I'm glad y'all made it this evening for the topic at hand. And let's see. I'm working with another computer, so bear with me when we get here. So we're going to talk about the first question that's been going in these airwaves, talking about, it's always been talked about. So I want to know what this is. What is an alpha? Like, what is that? You know what I'm saying? I know alpha and omega, but they talk about it from a male standpoint. I want to know what the women think, and then what the men think. Obviously, what is an alpha male specifically? And we'll start with Miss Penny.
I don't know. Because I don't know. Because I don't want to say the characteristics of a man that. Well, yeah, okay. Well, I guess when I think of alpha, I'll say someone who is a leader, someone who has direction, who can give direction. What other qualities? Who is has a lot of motivation? Who, yeah. If I can tell the difference between an alpha and a beta, that's the difference. And someone who's less emotional and more stern. That's the only difference I can think of. So yeah.
Okay, it's a good start. Who you got
but
going
I don't
next?
like to classify men. Just to know, I'm asking a question. I mean, I'm telling you the reason because the question was asked, but I don't like to classify men as alpha or beta because I do feel like a man can be, you know, these characteristics different times in their lives. So.
Okay, that's fair. I respect that. Before you go, let me bring up my consistent brother. Everybody knows who he is. Mr. Dwayne.
Good evening.
Like somebody needs to take out their YouTube or something. Because I hear myself twice. All right, here we go. So you, Dwayne, what's your song? Can y'all hear that?
What's my song?
It's like you can hear myself. I can hear myself twice.
It's Dwayne. It's Dwayne's echo.
You probably have to take off one of them. Now you're muted.
I know that I was doing that on purpose. Can you? Is the echo there? Is it me?
Yeah, for me.
Not when you talk, but when everybody else talks, it's an echo.
Okay, let me
All
go
right,
back.
so we'll come back to you. Yeah, you can go back. Yeah. All right, so who you got going next, Penny?
I'm gonna go with Brandon.
All right. Y'all can hear me? All right, cool. If I were to define an alpha, all right, I'm gonna give you. Okay, I'd say an alpha is a leader, a strong in will, integrity, has the respect of other men. I would say generally what boys would aspire to be, and generally has control over their emotions in the sense that it doesn't overpower their logic when it comes to important decision making. But at the end of the day, I will also say that astrology. I mean, I'll also say that this kind of astrology for men on the low, this alpha beta shit. I ain't gonna hold you.
Say that last part. You said what?
Oh, I say, and also on the low, I'm starting to feel like, especially over these last couple of years, about how all the talk about alpha, beta, and gamma and theta, or whatever, all of them. It feels like it is like the astrology for men.
That's what a
You know what I'm saying?
topic.
Like,
The
but
astrology
anyway,
for men.
yeah. So
Good stuff.
I'll go with I hope I say this right. Tamia, did I say your name right? All right, bet.
Yes, you did. I'm hearing my echo, so that means Dwayne is back. Sorry, Dwayne.
You might have to turn down your volume or something, possibly.
Hello.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, I don't
Go
hear
ahead,
myself.
Tamia.
Okay. So how I would define an alpha male, a lot of the answers I had were pretty much stated already. But I would definitely say wisdom, emotional intelligence, very respected, but has respect himself. He's aware of his strengths, so he's humble. So I would definitely say that that's an alpha male, and then I'll piggyback off of everyone else and agree. Like other people look up to him. He knows what he wants. He's very determined, motivated, things of that sort. So yeah.
All right, who you got going next?
Oh.
If y'all could just mute in between, it may make it a little easier to just mute in between.
I'm gonna go with, because I'm curious, Prototype.
I typically hate these this little label, but to me it is somebody that's a leader, I guess dominant. Also, it's not wavering when it comes to emotions. Like doesn't let his emotions get the best of him. So I think I'll leave it pretty much there. Let's go with Ash since she just jumped on.
Please forgive me for my tardiness. Alpha male for me is somebody that pretty much is a leader. He can take control. It's not this new age alpha male type thing. It's this, because I just hate it. It's like he's not showing that he's, I guess, too emotional. It's like a pretty much shows dominance in a way, but it's not more of a dictatorship, I want to say. It's just, to me, it's more the manly, I guess you can say, what I grew up with. Like, he's outside, he strong in his role in the house. And that would be my definition for right now.
That's a good start. Go ahead.
I'll go with Dwayne next.
How's it sound? Still echo?
No, it's no echo. I think I heard a
All
different
right,
one though,
cool.
maybe with
All right. So what's an alpha?
echo still.
One more time.
I think it's still an echo.
It's back.
I don't hear it when Dwayne talking. I only hear it when
I know,
anybody else
right? All right. So we gotta figure that out, Dwayne. You the techie.
It's just like every time. But let me do this. So right now I'm talking, y'all, and I'm on mute. My speaker's going. Is there an echo? All right, so yeah.
Yeah. Do you have another tab open?
No. You still hear it?
Yeah.
And all y'all
It's
still hear it.
delayed.
Yeah, so go to your microphone on a StreamYard,
Yep.
and then make sure echo cancellation, that little box is checked.
Yeah, it's checked. Just like every time. All right, let me try something different.
They saying it's me.
No, it's him, but
Okay.
he could have.
No worries. So go ahead on you, Sahel.
Yes, so it's a cool question because there's a lot of definitions of what an alpha is. But one of the things that's not talked about a lot is an alpha just is. Like, when one walks in the room, just based off of his confidence, his calmness, or his calm rather, the way that he goes about stuff. Even in his when he's quiet, you can tell that there's a reservation of power and strength there. So one thing about an alpha is you don't see him going around beating his chest and letting the world know that he's an alpha. An alpha never announces himself. He just is. And he gains the respect of other strong men around him. And so I think that's the biggest thing that I see. An alpha is that. And then from that, he's a natural leader. Like he's willing to, if he's going to take the lead on something, to take the responsibility if it succeeds or if it fails. And don't really give a care about what people think about that. So again, the biggest thing for me, an alpha just is, it is the way he thinks, the way he carries himself, and then the way he acts based off of who he is. He doesn't pretend for anybody. He just is. So that to me is what an alpha is.
That's good. I think all of them kind of correlate to a degree. And so I'm going to go somewhere with this particular question, but I wanted to kind of start with a particular definition that everybody somewhat can agree or kind of be on the same level or playing field, if you will. So with that being said, because I want to know, do women really desire an alpha male? Do women really desire an alpha type man?
I would say yes, because to me, I don't want to lead all the time. I need you to be able to do that. Like sometimes when I come home or things need to be done, hey, if you can get this done, that's fine. Like to me, when you're alpha, it's like, because I always tell people this, it's like if you know my car needs like an oil change or you know it, go ahead and get it done. Like say why I'm late is because I was training yesterday. So sometimes I get off. I'm not always 100% when I come home because I done had to stand on my feet all day training somebody how to drive a bus. And that's not to me, just regular degular. It's not like I'm driving and I can come home and be 100. Sometimes I need you to take the lead role. Like if you see something that needs to be done for me, just take the lead role and get it done. You don't have to sit around and wait.
That is not no alpha.
I would say
that is not an alpha.
What do you call it? A simp or something? Because to me, I feel if you see something that needs to be done, baby, go ahead and get that done. You ain't got to wait. So what is you saying? Because I seen that face and then them hands is over there rubbing. Is that ring burning?
That's what you just call an adult. Somebody who sees the need and gets it done.
Baby.
But it was particular to her though, right? Sees my need and get my need done, right? Like, nah, no.
But yeah, you also said I need when he sees something doing, he can go ahead and take the lead, which implies that in other times you are the lead.
Sometimes I just might be.
Negative.
With an alpha male, that'll be hard. So like with an alpha male, you're never. He's the alpha male, so you're never really the lead. So yeah, I see where the guys are.
So I
The
do
guys
I
are
do
coming
think
on this one.
women all mostly want alphas. Some don't. I wouldn't put this is the one time I'm not going to say all women are the same, right? This might be
Interesting.
the one time,
I
but
thought I wanted an alpha, but
listen, to like the ones that don't, right? It's because they then want they're afraid to get hurt and they don't want to release control and they want somebody they can control at that point. You know what I'm saying? So I think at first they all want that, but then the ones that don't want it, it's a defense mechanism. You know what I'm saying? So we know there's a lot of hurt women out here. So I can't say all because a lot of women are hurt at this point. You know what I'm saying? But I think generally in a healthy state, most women want an alpha man.
Can I ask a question? Can I
Not
ask a
yet.
question just from? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
It was so I
You can ask
further.
a question.
Okay, I can because it's so I further understand the question.
It's a
So is it
dialogue. So if
possible?
you ever have a question, you can always ask.
Oh, so you were just bullying me per usual.
Yeah,
Got
as
it.
usual.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and I'm genuinely asking, what would you all say being with an alpha male looks like to where some women don't desire an alpha male? So, like Penny mentioned, like I thought I wanted
Hold
an
that
alpha male.
question. Hold
Okay.
that
All
question.
right.
That's a good
Okay.
question. It's transitioning where I'm gonna go. Okay. So make sure you pin that. I want to answer this question first, right? Because I think Ash answered, Tamia kind of answered, Prototype answered. Penny said she thought she did. So expound upon that real quick, Penny.
so I guess being in previous relationships where I've had alpha men or strong men, I'm in a relationship where, or I've had a relationship where the man was not as alpha as my previous relationships, and I thought that was something bad. The things that he did, if he didn't do it to that standard or that pressure, then I felt like he was less of a man. But actually, the things that he took care of was enough for me. It's just society made me think that this is the way he had to be, and he had to react to things for it to be good enough for me. But it wasn't. He didn't have to be. He could be missing some things, like he didn't have to lead in certain aspects of my life. But society will tell you that if he's not leading in certain areas, then he's not a man. But when he didn't lead in those aspects, in those situations, and I was okay, I was okay to pick up that slack, and we could do it together, and that was okay. So unlearning that conditioning, I think, is hard to do for some women, to where they feel like they may need an alpha man to do certain things for you guys to be okay, but you don't. If you guys do them together and you complete them together, it'll work out just fine. So I thought I needed an alpha man to do all of these things, but I'm learning that I don't. There's other things that I appreciate that are not considered alpha, but I appreciate them in this man.
That was a dope response. I think that was really dope. I want to make a mention though, like, so I think a lot of women do want the alpha until they realize that two things are important. One is, if you want the alpha, you never gonna be number one in his life. I hear that echo. So you're never gonna be one in an alpha's life. Number two is you got to be disciplined. Like, an alpha is not focused on little mundane stuff. So he's not coming home trying to get you to know what's going on for dinner and what did you do the laundry. Alphas are not focused with those little bitty tasks. They focus on bigger pictures. And so I think a lot of women desire an alpha man because it's good to say, that's my man over there, until that man who you bragging on require you to be the kind of woman that represents the kind of man he is. And a lot of women are not built for alphas. Now, they built to maybe sleep with one, but to exist with one, to build with one, to love on one, to respect one, to be obedient to one, because an alpha is going to require that submission and obedience from his woman. A lot of women are not disciplined and built to handle an alpha man. So I think initially, yes, everybody wants that until you see the job description and you realize that is a lot easier than it actually is.
I don't know, because being with two alpha males prior, it was easier than being with a man that's not alpha. So I don't know if I would say, like, I didn't fit the bill of, you know, dealing with them or meeting them at that level of being that type of woman. It's just different things that you appreciate and different things that, you know, you just learn that it's okay if it's not done that way. And so that's why I don't really like the like alpha beta kind of conversation, because then you're telling a man how he has to be and what he like. Everybody should strive to be great for sure, but how you get there and the things that you do to do that doesn't define you as a person. And so if I decide to be with a man who would prefer to cook for me versus a man that just makes sure, you know, that he works and, you know, he stays busy, that doesn't mean that I can't hang with an alpha male who's more of a leader, or a man who decides to be that person that helps instead of that man that leads in a situation. I don't think I'm less of a woman to have to deal with that type of man.
Can I even piggyback off of that and say that I definitely do think women really desire an alpha male type of man, in a sense of so they feel comfortable to submit. So those qualities of an alpha male provide security in a sense. And then I can also even go to say, like, even with Penny's experience, so like a man wanting to cook for her, take, you know, you guys take helping hands in certain things. I don't personally, in my opinion, I don't even think that takes away his title or his stance as an alpha male. I think that he can still be a leader, and if that's something that he wants to do as a kind gesture, or if that's how the household world works and he's open to cooking and finding that as a nice deed that he does for his partner, I guess that's why I asked that question. Like, does that take, you know, like what really is an alpha male? Because I can get why Penny's like, I don't really like to put a title on that, because does that essentially a man wanting to do certain things, you know, that he also knows makes his wife feel good, does that suddenly take away the stance of an alpha male because they may do certain things together, which I don't think it does. I think that he can definitely establish his respect and his leadership, and a woman can submit, and he can still want to, you know, what kind of dad is he? You know, like maybe we cook dinner all together with our children or whichever. And I think that even depending on the woman's viewpoint, says alpha, you know, like he's very family involved. So I really do think it's on a perspective thing, but I definitely feel like a woman typically does want an alpha male. At least for me personally, I want that so that I feel comfortable to submit, because all those qualities make sense to me, to a space where I can trust a man. But it is true that there are some women that are not ready for that as yet.
Yeah. And I would agree that, like, at first, being with someone who isn't as alpha as, you know, as I thought in my mind was hard, because at first it was kind of like a, you know, a respect kind of thing. And it was kind of, you know, it was hard to deal with. He was like, you're supposed to do this. You're supposed to do this. He's not cut for it. You know, do I want to pick this person as the father of my children? Will he be able to teach my son the things that he needs to know to survive in this world, to raise a family? You know, those concerns came. And then we broke up. And the things that he did for me haunted me in my sleep. Not those things like him fixing things, but the way he treated me, the way he courted me, it haunted me. And I wasn't able to find that in anybody else, any of the alpha men that I messed with. But those small, nice gestures, like, it haunted me. So it was something that, you know, changed my perspective.
So you're saying that there's, based on your experience, I wonder if this is other women as well, that being an alpha is rare with men. What y'all think, men? Do y'all think
Yes.
is that the majority of guys would fall into the, as we're calling, the alpha category?
No.
Do you think it's something that is pretty much out there for the picking?
No.
What y'all think?
I don't-
We'll talk
I
to
don't-
Brandon.
I don't-
What you think, Brandon? Hold on, Prototype, real quick. Well, let me ask Brandon, then I'm gonna come right to you, sir.
Yeah, I don't think it's rare if we, I guess, take the traditional sense of what an alpha is. I don't think it's necessarily rare, but I just think that I feel like recently we've equated alpha with a certain type of hyper financial success that, you know, if you don't make
Who
that,
is
you
we?
automatically.
Who is
I
the
mean,
we you referring to?
what are you talking about?
You talking about men and women, society? Like, who is the we?
Yes,
Can you give me a?
Yes. I
You
would
talking
say like society, but mostly like don't say modern women, but I was gonna say more of the modern women, but I would say society has kind of changed the interpretation of what an alpha could be, and I think a lot. And when we think alpha, we think successful male, high value, and high value implies like success in finances and being able to take care of the household, and that means you got to make 6 figures, 7 figures, or whatever. And if you don't have that, then that kind of automatically means that you can't really be an all the way alpha. So I think that a lot of people you think of when they think of alpha, they think of somebody who out here with the Rolexes and things of that nature, and it makes it seem like it's not that many of alphas out there because there's not a lot of people who make that type of money. That makes sense, but they out here.
So I don't think being an alpha has anything to do with your financial stability. I think it's a huge part of like who you are. Even when you don't have money, you move a certain way. You know what I'm saying? You move with some discipline. You move with some purpose. I'll say. You know what I'm saying? So it's more of a how you move than what you have. You know what I'm saying? So I can't say that society. I mean, maybe society puts that stigmatism of financial whatever. I don't look at it like that. You know what I mean? Because even in coaching sports, I'll meet guys that have nothing and meet guys that have everything, right? And I could clearly see that this dude that has nothing is a better man, a better individual, a better leader than this man that might have everything. He might be a chump, he might be a sucker, he might be goofy, like, you know what I'm saying? There could be all different types of things with this dude. Just because he got some bread, he could still be an absolute clown. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think alpha necessarily has anything to do with financial. It really has something to do with posture. You know what I'm saying? How you hold yourself, how you carry yourself, how you converse, what you allow to slide or not slide, if you allow somebody to play with you or not, that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Makes you alpha. And I'm not saying, and then it's also a huge deal of emotional intelligence. You know what I'm saying? Not letting your emotions get the best of you. I think that's the main feature in an alpha, is somebody that just doesn't let their emotions get the best of them. We're all human, so we have some weak points, but at the same time, being able to have self-control is a huge. It's what makes I think alpha. And there are a lot of men out there, but as without the financial whatever, I think you're not seeing them. It's kind of like that scale of when girls asking where's the men at, but they're only looking at the 7, 8s, and the 8s, 9s, and 10s of men. You know what I'm saying? But there's a huge range of men who are pretty solid. They're just not flashy. You know what I'm saying? So I think women also like mistake someone who is loud and boisterous. You know what I'm saying? With he's an alpha because he'll pop off at you, but outside he ain't popping off at nobody. He'll get he'll get his little tail whoop. You know what I mean? So it's a little different.
Yep, that's a. Hit it. AJ, you mind if I add something real quick? So here's the thing that I think so you got regular men. These men, they just go to work. They want to go home, get a beer, sit on the couch, watch TV, get up, go to work, and do it all over again. That's most men. Above the regular men, you got men with potential. So these men go to work, come home, get a beer, but they're going to do a little bit of reading and studying at night because they want to go to a different level. So these are men with that potential. Same as the regular men, but just with a little bit more ambition. On top of potential, these are the leaders. These are men who've actually come home, got a beer, sat on the couch, did the homework, and now they went back to school, or they've got an LLC, and they're really putting in the work, and you see that in their life. So these are the leaders. And then on top of the leaders, you got the alphas that sit on top of them. These are the men who did all of that, and they outwork the rest. They work harder. They do more because their vision is so big. So I think when we talk about alphas, and I think Prototype just alluded to it, which I think was a great point, is you don't determine if he's an alpha comparing him to you as a woman. And I think that's where so many women get it messed up. Like, so you compare what he does as it relates to you, and you determine if he's an alpha or not. No, you compare alphas to other men of his same stature. So that's the first thing. And then the second part is, to Humble Dad's question, is I think that most men are not alphas, but here's why. Most men are not in an environment conducive to their skill sets. So like I'm in the computer sciences. If you ask me to go work on a car, I'm a regular dude. I can change the tire, change the oil. I can do the basic stuff. I'm not an alpha because that's not my domain. But put me with some technology. And so I think this is another part that we miss. A lot of women who don't believe that a man is an alpha, you've never really seen him in his domain. You never see how he can dominate at the thing that he's fantastic at. Like some of you, like if you've dated an athlete, he might not be the most, oratorically astute person, but get him on the basketball court and he dominates, he kills on the court, right? So I'm saying like alpha may not be you're an alpha in everything that you do, but it is about your mindset. And then when you're in your domain, you dominate within your domain.
Good point.
What you got on it, Ash? Did you already answer this? Do women really desire?
Yes, I was the first one to go. But
Oh, that's
I
right.
like what he said though. Because that makes perfectly sense. And that to me, in my mind, falls in what Prototype was talking about in Randon, that society has formed the shape of the alpha male. But where Sir Hall just said, put him in his domain, you're gonna see him thrive, which makes perfectly good sense because he may not be an alpha in everyday life, but his skill set or how he do his job may show his alpha capabilities there. It's just not always pertaining to what we see him in his afterlife or at the everyday standpoint of what he's doing. So that makes perfectly good sense.
I would kind of push back against Sir Howell a little bit on that.
Okay.
Because I
it's
feel
Sir
like
Hale. It's Sir Hale for all
Sir
those
Hale.
that have not been listening.
Sir Hale, whatever. All right, no disrespect,
I'm
but
gonna say whatever.
I mean, because
you said it every time you get on.
Listen,
Every time.
Maybe it's the accent. It is what it is. I think alphas are well rounded. So I think you see it in anything they do. If they know it or don't, right? I think they have a can-do spirit about getting it done, no matter if they know what to do or if they don't. You know what I mean? So I don't necessarily, like, you could put me under a car, you could put me to build a house.
Alphas are self-aware. That's what you're trying to communicate.
Well, no, I'm
Alphas
not
are
saying self-aware is saying I don't know something, right? And that's cool, but I'm just saying it's an attitude of, well, we could get this, I could figure it out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think no matter where you put that alpha guy, like if you take a collection of men and throw them on an island somewhere, regardless if that alpha is going to stick out. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of if he knows what's going on or not. You know what I'm saying? And I think they're well rounded and we can get this done wherever I'm at. You know what I'm saying? So I don't care where you put me. I'm gonna be like, well, I can figure it out. I'm smart enough.
Yeah, that's good. I understand that particular perspective. To answer the question, I think most women don't really want a leader as a man. I mean, I don't think they want their men to be really leaders in the essence of what a leader does, because a leader tells you what to do, right? And women have a hard time accepting a man telling them what to do. I was on this post, and it was what's something? I think it was the Tamla Man and her daughter. I guess she was wearing this. I want to say it's a brassiere, but it was something that keeps your rolls tucked in or something like that. Garter or something. I don't know.
Corset. A corset.
What?
A corset.
What? Okay. A Corvette. That's cool. All right. So, and I responded. I said, "This is pretty interesting that she's okay with wearing this because she's saying she's a woman of God, right?" And I said something to the level of that. Women responded, "Who are you? Stay out of women's business." I said, "Well, first of all, I'm a Christian, and therefore that makes me a leader in the community. That's my role. So I get to do this, right? But here you'll say, there will be women that will say, I want a man that's a leader that's going to be taking control. I want him to have a plan. I want him to be assertive. Well, men that are assertive are not well liked by most people. You know what I'm saying? Because we speak our mind. When I say we, I'm including myself. I mean, some of y'all, well, Tamia seeing me in person in action. So y'all get the nice version on camera. So like when I'm communicating with individuals, they don't like when I have to correct them, as opposed to, if you want to, we're just using the words, right? A beta male is kind of kowtow, so to speak, to some degree. So I would say that most women want to have their guy say yes, and they're very uncomfortable with no's. That's why I'm saying, do women really desire an alpha type of man? Because an alpha type of man is like, hey, this is where we're going. Are you going with me? But he also, as Prototype said last week, he also is open to counsel from his wife and that woman that he's rocking with, right? But as to say, oh, okay, babe, okay, what you saying, that makes sense. Let's go with that. That makes sense to me, right? I'm not talking about that. But if a guy says, babe, I don't want you wearing that, most women, 90% of women would be like, you can't tell me what to wear. To me, I'm wrong. Go ahead.
I got a little pushback with that. If you respect your man, and
That's okay. Your push ain't gonna go too far, but go ahead.
Whatever. If you respect your man enough and your man is the leader of your household, it shouldn't matter. If he say, hey, that's not what's going down. You're not going out the house like that. At the end of the day, it's a respect thing. If the woman is the leader of the house, like we were discussing last week with the Kiki Palmer situation, she gonna do it whatever. But if you value and respect your man, like you said, Christian, and most of these people claim they are Christian, that means the man is the head of the household. If you got something on that man is not responding to that well, you need to go take that out. That means you're disrespecting not only yourself, you disrespecting your man. That means you don't really value him as an alpha of your household. He only alpha when it's obtaining your behavior and doing what you want to do.
Yeah, I completely agree with Ash. And I know you were asking if I have something to say. I do. I do not believe that it is 90% of women, but to each his own. There is a lot of them. There is a large percentage, and I've even checked myself in some cases.
Give me a percentage then. Give me a percentage.
I would say we're more
Ms.
on like the 70%.
I got you, HD. 91%.
Got you.
I will push back and say 30%.
Listen,
I think most women. I think most
30?
women. Yeah, most women listen to their dude. Like most women listen to their dude.
Okay, if that's the case, Prototype. Go ahead. I'm gonna let Tamia go, and then I'm gonna come back. Go ahead.
What I was gonna say is, what I think what needs to be considered also is a lot of men these days. 80% of men these days are leading and leading improperly. So a lot of women are bouncing back because it's like, okay, you're telling me to do X, Y, Z, but you are not carrying that alpha male, persona. So a lot of that pushback that you're seeing, because you asked me, are there a lot of alpha men out here? No, there's not. A lot of men don't want to do anything. They feel like women are entitled when they ask you to lead, and they don't want to do anything. I'm speaking specifically, I know I'm 26. A lot of men out here, my friends speaking, I'm married, so I'm blessed, right? I don't have to deal with it. But there are a lot of women that say men do not want to lead. They don't want to do anything of any sort. So that's why you see a lot of women these days, especially in my age range, that are like, no, I'm gonna do what I want because you're not leading me. You're not providing. You're not giving me a reason to listen to you. So on a traditional aspect, yeah, but it has a lot of factors that go into that. That if a man is leading correctly, like, okay, like you said, HD, I've seen you lead in the workplace. I've seen also you receive pushback coming from a person that has a perspective of men don't know what they're speaking about. They don't know what they're talking about. But I can respect you and say, like, I know you have good counsel. I can listen to you because of the man that you've shown yourself to be in the workplace. So I think it has a lot to do with the man that's trying to step up and give instruction. I think that's where it really hits the fan too. There are stubborn women. I'm gonna keep it at that 70% because they saw their moms and their aunts and their grandmas, especially women of color, where it was like, nope, you know yourself, you do what you have to do, and there are areas for that. But me, I'd rather you tell me what. I'll respect you. Like, I respect my husband. If he doesn't like something, I genuinely am like, okay, that dissatisfies you, bet. But there's a lot of things that go into that.
Prototype, you had something you wanted to add?
I mean, I think to me it was spot on. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of men are failing at being leaders. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to lead. You know, like, I think that portion of men that want to go to work and come home and just have a man cave, that's a big portion of men. You know what I'm saying? It's hard work for real to really go after it. You know what I mean? Go after your dreams. Hear rejection. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of men don't want to. They're scared of that, you know, so that's why, you know, they'll take on these 50-50 projects. You know what I mean? Like I said before, like, women are buying their way out of being submissive when they're paying half these bills. You know what I'm saying? So men are okay with not being alpha men or leaders, you know, looking for a roommate, because all they're thinking of, well, cool, we can split the bills. I get my man cave. She leaves me alone. I do the little chores that she want me to do. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's really some sucker stuff that a lot of men are, you know. So I understand what you're saying, but I still think even the most combative women, you know what I mean? There's some that are just like, their heart is hard. You know what I mean? But I think most women have a guy that they'll be completely submissive to. They just don't find those dudes, or they don't understand how to get those dudes or acquire. But I think most women will be submissive if they were in the right situation.
Get that dude then? How can they get
That's a different question. Like, you know what I mean? But right, I still think they have it in them. I'm saying they have it in them to be that.
This is what I'm saying though. Like, if there's few of alpha males, there's more women already than men. Okay, then how is it that they're going to be able to find them? Penny, you have something you want to say?
That's why a lot of women are single and not married right now.
It's
right,
because
and the
of
ones that are not. If they talk to the other guy that is not what you're explaining, then you're telling them that he's not adequate. So, what are they to do?
Well, I mean, then I think the adjustment happens, right? I think women start doing extra stuff to kind of make up for it, and sometimes they're okay with, you know, doing, you know, carrying in all the groceries or paying half the bills or doing whatever they have to do to make up just for, you know, some love life.
Carrying the groceries.
I mean, come on now. If you know, if a woman pulls up, your wife pulls up to the house with the groceries,
I'm going to go get the groceries.
My point exactly. But then if she doesn't have a man that's going to jump on that, she'll make up the lack. Like, oh, I'll carry on men. Or I'll do this, or you know what I mean. I'll change the light bulb. Like, it's the certain things. Like, but if she had an opportunity to rest in femininity, then I think they would fully take advantage of that. But men are okay with having roommates. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, that's just what it is. They don't think of themselves as someone who is leading life. They're just living it on somebody else's terms.
So is there like a certain amount of things that you have to do to be an alpha male? Like, it's for men? For men, do you, like, if you have a friend who doesn't do all of these things that you guys are saying that alpha men do you tell that man, like, you're not an alpha man because you don't take in the groceries like I do? Or, you know,
no, I think it's just the simple part about saying the alpha part is that he's a leader. So that could be, and
doesn't everyone lead in their own way?
No. A leader has a plan. No, everybody doesn't lead in their own way. Leaders plan, and then they set the vision, and then they put you in place to help that vision be conquered, so to speak. So, and that can go that can go a numerous amount of ways. Like, the men on the panel, we say that we're leaders, but we may lead in a different way. Like, I'm in management, you know, so I can talk to people in a certain way to get them to do what I want. You know what I'm saying? You have people that in the tech, you have psychologists, psychiatrists. I may have said that wrong, but in that field, right? That's what Sir Hale was referring to, right? So they're leading in the aspect. They have a game plan, right? There are men that do not. They literally do not have a game plan. I was on a podcast. Shout out to Purple Pill, and the young lady was like, I was sitting at dinner, and I asked the guy, he asked me what was my 5-year goal. I told him. I asked him what was his. He said, I don't know. I said, why did you continue to date?
Well, he's not leading at all.
Right. So right, he's not leading at all. So there are men out there that are not leading
ways.
At all.
You guys said
but
no.
If he would have came back with and told her his vision and how he was going to get to it, then that is a leader.
Right, but that's what you said. Well, all you guys said no, and then you said he's going to lead in a different way. That's what I said. But then you said you compared it to a man who's not leading at all, not someone who's leading in a different way.
So what I mean by leading in a different way is that he may want to have a real estate business. Another person may want to have wants to have a CDL. Another person may just want to be a manager of Walmart. You know, if he has a goal and he knows how to get to his goal, that in my estimation is a leader. And then he knows how to conduct the business inside of his house and run his house efficiently, where he produces. His wife is encouraged. His kids are a byproduct of him loving his wife. I'm saying those are the framework of what an alpha male should be as it relates to men that talk about it. Now, if you're talking about in the spaces that we typically in, they not even focusing on character. What I just told you focuses on character, because the guy that's an alpha male is concerned not only about himself, but about everybody that's in his household and trying to get them to the place that they should be.
I want to add this as well, though. So it depends on how old you are as well. Like to me, you're 26, so you're married fairly young. And I think this is a good age you're married at. But if you're dating at 22, 23, expecting this guy to be an alpha male at 23, you're putting too much. You don't even know that as a woman yet. Like you just got looks, and that is your biggest currency at this point. It's going to take some years to accumulate the experience, to accumulate the life knowledge, the confidence. So I think when we talk about this, we got to really start putting some age on this. You're not going to have it all at 23 years old. But you'll start to see potential. You'll start to see, well, he got it in him. I see that. And for the most part, women who really rock with a guy will start working with it because she see that in him and he's doing something with what he has. But when you start to get like 30, 35, 40, I think this is more of an appropriate age range when we're starting to define whether or not somebody is an alpha man. So I wanted to put that out there because there's a lot of young men who listen to stuff like this and they're trying to have the look, and they're trying to have the car and the home, and all they're doing is running up debt, trying to look like something that they don't have enough life experience to actually be, right? So being an alpha male, you don't get it at 23. It's an accumulation of life, and then what you do with the experience you have.
You keep
Brandon,
saying.
What you got on?
I just want to interject real quick because he keeps saying that it's something you got to grow. I mean, you got to grow, but a lion's a lion when it's born. And
even lions got to grow.
Yeah, but it's still a lion.
I told you the potential's there. You are what you are, but it's the acute. I'll give you an example. So let's take your lion experience. If you are a lion and I raise you in a cage, well, you're still a lion, but I've domesticated you outside of your nature. But if you're a lion and I put you out in your natural habitat for you to develop your skills and to leverage the instincts that are just in you, where not only are you a lion, but you are doing what a lion was created to do. So that's what I'm saying with men. All men have that potential, but a lot of men haven't been put in an environment conducive to build those skills that it takes for a man to be a man, let alone an alpha to be an alpha.
I don't know. I can't say all men because I knew guys that were suckers when we was kids and they suckers now. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to say all men.
Just because we didn't grow.
Well, I mean, regardless, I mean, like
because,
I said,
for example, it's like every boy should become a man, right?
Yeah.
But every boy doesn't become a man.
I mean, if you want to put it, I don't like how
If I want to put it
that.
like that, that's what it is. That's
Well, I
exactly
mean,
what
because
the
it's, I
issue
mean,
is. What you're
a man's a
saying.
man regardless. I mean, but we're
No.
just trying to say that if he likes character, he likes character.
Okay, Brandon, chime in. You deal with what type of people in your profession, if I may ask?
I'm in the mental health field, so I'm a therapist. So I deal with a lot of adults dealing with a lot of like anxiety, depression, things of that nature,
So you can kind of speak
relationship
into
issues, boundaries.
this. Go ahead. So if you could
Yeah,
look at
so
it, go ahead.
yeah, so I kind of agree with Sir Hill in the sense of like, it takes amount of life experience and stuff like that. But life experience is not necessarily dependent on age. You know what I'm saying? So like, there's 40-year-old little boys, and then there's 20-year-old grown ass men. Just based off of just like the experiences and the things that they've been through, and also how they handle the things that they went through. That's another part that a lot of people don't really take into account when it comes to these life experiences. A lot of people go through a lot of shit, but a lot of people don't handle that shit well at all. And the people in their lives feel the brunt of that a lot of times, and usually that comes within the relationship and stuff like that. So I would say if we were going to continue on this alpha type of talk and being like it requires a lot of lived experience. It takes a lot of lived experience times handling it in a manner that is conducive to yourself and your life and the people that you're going to have in your life around you, that it doesn't like destroy that, if that makes any sense.
So you're saying that they're going to have a revival. that's you know what I'm saying? Because if they grow up in the hood, so to speak, right,
Mm-hmm.
and it's chaos among them, then how do they
Mm-hmm.
take what they have grown in, and these basically are weeds that are pretty much
Mm-hmm.
around them? Now they have to have somebody that's able to cut around the weeds, and them be able to say, you know what, now I can see, so let me desire the change to move in the direction that's beneficial for me and my family. Is
Yeah,
that fair?
yeah. Your circumstances definitely determine, like it can determine like your outcome, and depending on your circumstances, it could be a harder battle or harder journey in order to get to, I guess, the promised land, get the Pride Rock, if you're going to go to Lion King way. So like if you're born in the shadow, what was it, the Darklands, the Shadowlands, what was it in the Lion King, where
Yeah,
we don't go,
yeah,
the area we don't. If you're
yeah.
going over there, like you got to burn that motherfucker down in order to even see Pride Rock.
Right. So then how can a woman be able to, so then that's the thing. So then how does a woman be able to say, you know what, I see
Mm.
this alpha male that is 23, you know what I'm saying, or 27? Like, go ahead,
I
Tamir.
can
How do
speak to
you
that.
see
I
that
can
in a
speak to
guy?
that. I can speak to
Because I
that because
know my
I'm
late wife
married.
definitely.
I mean, I married my husband. I was 21. He was 22. So I can definitely attest to the concept of a man. Yes, is always a man. Like prototype, like what you're saying, but you can attest to the fact that you're not the same man that you were 5, 8, or that you were at 21. Like you improve, you grow, you flourish. So if you're asking how can a woman know or see, I feel like also what Sir Hale and Prototype is saying, like if you're a lion, you're a lion, and you can see those traits, that passion or that potential in an individual, that they want to be better, that they're growing through those stages. You're seeing progression, you're seeing change. But it is very true. It's not my husband, which is why I'm saying, I can attest to that men grow. And they flourish and they break through things. Weeds have to be cut, and it does take, there are some women that don't want to sit through that. But I feel like if you're in a circumstance like mine, where I also have weeds, I'm also growing, I'm also flourishing. But in the sense of a male, you watch that progression, you see how that person changes, and that's where you stick it through. Now I'm married. I don't know that a woman that's in a relation, like in a relationship or boyfriend girlfriend, that may differ. But I feel like even if she dated, if we were dating from 21 and just got married at 25, it would be because I've seen that there is that lion, there's that alpha male in him, and that his circumstances is what he's overcoming, so he can essentially get to where he wants to be. Yeah.
So I would say resilience, persistence, determination, the things that we look at other men and we
Character.
judge
Yeah.
other men on character, right? We all know like how I look at you and say, man, humble dad, he's a good dude. But I'm saying you're a good dude because you showed integrity. I'm saying you're a good dude because you're determined. I'm saying you're a good dude because you're persistent. I'm saying you're a good dude because you're true, right? And that's how we judge other men based off of those. Women don't generally have those things on their list, on their checkbox, or it's second nature. It's after they have a certain status, or it's after, you know what I mean? But there's certain guys that I've seen that I knew was going to end up on the other side on a positive note. Like it's just a matter of time before they get there. So like the thing with alphas, they're going to get there. It might be delayed. They might be on a fast track, whatever, but they're going to be persistent, resilient, have integrity all the way, and they're going to get there. So that's what I'm saying. It's not a thing where I'm only an alpha when I'm 35. I could be an alpha when I'm 12 if I've shown these characters of resiliency and determination and grit. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's the things you see in a person. So when you say I'm a different man than I was when I was 21, I'm not. I'm that same hungry, resilient guy that I was when I was 12. You know what I'm saying? And it is only this where I'm at now is only the fruit of me being that for so long. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a thing like, oh, I had to wait. I was going to be this guy, and I'm the same guy. I just have more now.
Yeah, so I want to add to this as well. So I agree with a lot of what's being said, but when we talk about age, what we're setting is expectations. Most of us cannot tell that we know 3 alpha teenage boys right now. We probably know some very athletic teenage boys, some very strong teenage boys, but alpha is a combination of your strength and your ability mixed with some wisdom on knowing how to use those things. And so, like, when we talk about this concept of alpha, we got a really wonderful Americanized way of thinking about this. Like, really, alpha, when I think about an alpha, it's really not about good character. I mean, that's a component. That's a component. When I'm talking about an alpha, I want to know I got some dogs. I want to know if we got into a fight, will you roll up your sleeves and are you going in and you getting ready to conquer? That to me is an alpha. And to me, I measure alphas based off of not only how do you win in life, and this is your own personal battles, your own set of circumstances, your own adversities, you winning against the challenges of your own self, your own limitations and your doubts. But in life, what you go after, your ability to say, I'm going to do this, and it doesn't matter how many times I fail. If this is what I'm going to do, every failure is an opportunity to learn. And so when I think about alpha, it's not these wonderful, sweet characteristics that we apply because we get a chance to sit down and analyze it. Alphas is about winning. And when we really put this into perspective, when we talk about alphas in nature, alphas have to go fight. And sometimes they got to fight to the death of something else to prove that they deserve to be here. And so I think that when we talk about alphas, we really got to put this into context. Women have a perspective because they are the recipients of that alpha. But men have a different perspective because we know that there's a certain level of fight that it takes, a sort of rites of passage it takes to be not only an alpha according to how you feel about yourself, but to win that respect for other men as well. Men have to fight and overcome adversity to truly be an alpha, both for themselves and to gain the respect of those around them as well, including their woman.
Ash, you had something on it, or Penny?
No, I think he wrapped it up with a nice little bow.
What kind of bow was it? Like an alpha bow?
Yeah, it was one of them big shiny bows that stood out when you put it in the room.
Go ahead, Penny.
No,
you came
the
up.
way he
Okay.
explained it, it's like if we take off what we consider and just put it in a generalized way, because all of our definition is kind of the same, but it's from our perspective and what we seen growing up. Like Prototype was saying, it's about what he grew up in and what he's seeing and how he come up out of there, and that's determined I guess you could say his I'm gonna say alphaness, because at the end of the day, we all don't do the background research to know where somebody coming from to stick it out with them, or if we stick it out with them, it doesn't look all shiny and neat and yellow brick. You know, to me, it's he kind of summed it up. He kind of changed my perspective on Alpha a little bit. You know, because again, to me, I just think it's what he does in him, you know, that shows alphaness. Because like Prototype say, he could be doing nothing. He could be the same way. And so happen I know somebody like that. He's been the same way. You're not progressing. So it's like, I can't deal with this. This is too much work for me because I don't want to work this hard. I want to, what they say, rest in my femininity when I get off work or something, you know. But it's just to me.
You should not want to rest when you get home in your femininity. You walk out the door.
Let me tell you something. When I get off that bus, I have to be strong all day. I'm gonna rest.
Listen, you can still be. Listen, you worked at Barry. There was a lady named Veronica at Barry Direct. I don't know if you remember her. She was in HR, and she was still feminine, and she was the boss of HR.
I'm sorry, I like to be aggressive sometimes.
And that's what we're saying. You should not have to turn it on and off. What if a dude said, I know y'all probably seen this. What if a dude said he's feminine, but he gonna turn it off? He gonna turn on his masculinity. How's that sound?
Well, see, the problem is I'm gonna question it. I'm gonna probably look at it just a little bit longer and see what you're talking about first, because that's intriguing. How you gonna turn it off? Because I want to see this.
That's exactly what we're saying. That's exactly what I'm saying.
I want to see you turn this off. But it's hard. Like with me, being a single parent, I'm always in my character of being strong in getting things done. So it, like you said, it's hard for a woman to listen to somebody when you're doing this on a regular. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I've also, in my job, I am in a leadership role. Even though I'm behind the wheel, sometimes I step off and I supervise, or I'm in training, like I'm actually training somebody. So sometimes those characteristics still come home when I close the door, because I have to get so many things done with the kids and trying to make sure everything's in line. So when I'm trying to date and bring somebody into this, you know, they may feel like that's too much for them because they are alpha and they're not used to all this bam, bam, bam. This list needs to be done by the end of the day. You get what I'm saying? He may wants to do things in a lax way or get it done by the end of the day, but not as structured as I want it done. You get what I'm saying?
I do. And there's nothing wrong with structure. I can't say, I don't know the guy, but I mean, I don't see why he wouldn't or enjoy the structure that you may have. But guys also have a timeline of their own, right? So a woman that rests in their femininity, she's just feminine. It shouldn't be a switch, whether you're single or not, right? Like if a dude said, well, I'm going to be feminine until I meet the right woman, then I'm going to be masculine. That sounds crazy.
Can I push back a little bit on this statement?
No.
Just slightly.
Yeah, Penny, I think Penny had something she wanted to say too.
I think dudes do rest in feminine. They don't say that outward, but I think some dudes, especially when they're younger, do rest in feminine ways. Like, you know, like the protection thing. I know there's plenty of guys that we don't protect every woman we've slept with. You know what I'm saying? So some of them women, you know, we don't feed them, we don't protect them, we don't provide for them. You know what I mean? We just take from them. You know what I'm saying? And it expects stuff from them. So, and I think that's selective, right? You know, there's a woman that comes along that you hold the door for, you do this for, but the other ones, when dudes are young and smutting women, that's kind of resting in your femininity, for, you know, because they're not treating those women with any kind of like. Now there's men that, you know, show every woman like a good time on a date, and they're gentlemen or whatever, and they might sleep with a lot of women. I'm not talking about those kind of men. I'm talking about the men who like abuse women. And it's generally when boys are young and we're just sleeping around and let's see how many girls we can smash and let's run a train and let's do all this weird stuff. You know what I'm saying? Generally, that woman is not being protected, provided for, and we are selecting not to protect for her because, you know, she's a hoe or she's this or she's that, and she don't deserve our protection because we have to protect who we're going to protect. If that makes sense, right? We have to choose wisely what we're willing to sacrifice our life for. You know what I'm saying? And that's generally the masculine thing to do, is to sacrifice your life for your woman, you know, my wife. So we're selective about that. And if we're not doing that, that's a feminine thing. But we don't say, hey, we're in our feminine. But that is how we're acting, though.
That's an interesting take. That you're saying that men are resting in their femininity if they're not doing what comes natural to them, which is to protect and provide. That's what you're saying. Okay, I got it.
It's ironic. It's interesting that point is being made because naturally men sleep around. So this is what I'm saying. When you think about the range of male behavior, it's not just what we've been trained to do in terms of doing right. We're naturally biologically wired to sleep around with as many people as possible.
You missed it. I'm not talking about the sleeping around part. I'm talking about how you're treating those women you're sleeping around with. Like there's women that you could be sleeping around with her, but you're still, when she's in your care, she feels safe. She's protected. Ain't nothing going to happen to her. And then there's other girls that you've probably slept around with that they don't get any benefits. You know what I'm saying? They're barely getting a 5 for 5 at Wendy's from you. You know what I'm saying? You're like, get out my house. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's on a situation where you're just trying to smut them out.
No, the point that I'm making is not that that can't be the pendulum upon which we determine it. This is feminine or masculine. I'm just saying certain things are just normal, right? And if we flip this around, don't get it twisted. It ain't just our men out here who just out here banging and slanging and don't care about nobody. Sometimes women just want to get.
Don't do that. Don't do that. We don't do that. Let's. We're talking about us right now. Let's stick to us.
Hold on, listen.
Yeah, that's true.
But then I would say that's a woman being very masculine.
I'm off from my perspective. So this is me giving my perspective about this.
But then I would say that's a woman
what he
being
says,
masculine.
he's saying that that's something that women on the show do. They say, well, men do it too. And so he was just saying he wanted to just talk about how men are acting. That's what he was trying to communicate.
But the point was this: it wasn't a deflection. My goal was to talk about what's normal, and we can't talk about if that alone makes a man feminine. That was the point for that.
I'm not talking about the sleeping around. You're talking about the sleeping around. I'm not talking about the sleeping around.
No, that was part of what I was talking
it's not even a part of it. I'm just saying that's how we treat
a part of what I was talking about.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm saying how we treat those women we're either sleeping around with or just having a good time with. There's still a level of I'm going to protect this one and I'm not going to protect this one. I'm gonna treat her like she's trash, or I'm gonna treat her like a lady. I'm sleeping with both of them, but with this one, I'm a little bit more feminine because I'm not protecting for her. I'm not caring for her. Like she is not really safe with me.
I mean,
let me ask this question real quick, Sir Hale. I don't know what you're thinking, but let me ask this question to Prototype, right? So are you saying that if the dude is sleeping with her and protecting her, then he is doing his job? So he can spread his seed as long as he's providing and protecting her.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so you cool with Nick Cannon?
I don't have a problem with Nick Cannon.
So you cool with him spreading his seed and having
fun? Look, man, the man's rich. He has provisions to do with whatever he wants. You know what I'm saying? And women are agreeing to the provisioning. You know what I'm saying? He's providing, protecting
the women. Stay on the man.
No, I'm just saying he's providing, protecting, and taking care of those women that are raising his children. And for whatever reason, he is willing to spread his seed. I mean, I think he got an illness that he's about to die, so he might be doing some irrational things when it comes to that. I understand why he's doing it. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I don't think he's being feminine.
No.
I don't think he's wrong. I don't think he's wrong for what he's doing.
I'm okay because at first you said before you say we got to say yes or no, we got to go right or wrong. It's not.
I don't think he's wrong. He can afford to do whatever he's doing. Hey, have at it. Have as many as you can, and as long as the women are okay with what he's doing.
How do you protect the woman when you're not there?
Financially.
So
she's because women thinks I'm safe if I got the money. You know what I'm saying? Remember, I think we talked about it.
We're not talking about women though. We're talking about you as a man.
In their eyes, they feel safe and protected.
That's not how we going.
Yes, that's how the answer is going.
No, you gotta wait to me. Hold on. That's not how we going, right? Because you of all people typically hold men to a high standard, right? So if you're going to be the man that is saying that you, is going to set it to a high standard, then we got to stay with the standard. And the standard is, right, you should have one woman that you're going to be dedicating yourself to, because that's literally going against your nature for sure, right? You're doing something that's very challenging to do unless they agree to it, right?
That might be your
Polygamists
standard.
like
That's not necessarily my standard.
okay. But what I'm saying is, and everybody else knows that the best way for your kid to be raised is by the mother and the father of the kid in the actual household. And so
Agreed.
if the guy is not in the household, then how is he actually providing and protecting? If somebody kicks down the door and you're not there, how are you protecting? And finances can't be the only way that you're being protected.
I mean, if I can finance a security guard being on premise, provide, protect. Men travel for work all the time. So are they not providing and protecting for their family? Like, so the guys that are truckers, they're not at home. They're home once every 2 weeks. They're not at home.
Interesting. Go ahead, Sir Hale.
That's all cap. Like, I respect my bro Prototype, but this is what I'm talking about. Like, when it comes to alpha males being that, one of the things we can tell if a man really is a man is how you treat the woman you with. And if you can't be there to take care of your woman and to provide, forget the physical safety. Like, I've been married for 16 years and I got married at 19. So I know what it is to be a foolish husband, to be young, dumb, and think I know something and don't know it, to 36 while I got 3 gray hairs and finally got some wisdom. Here's one thing I found out, that you can't throw money at every situation, because if you do, you might have stuff, but that does nothing for how you make your wife feel secure about you within her heart, within her head and her spirit, right? So when you take on a wife and you got some kids, part of that security is not, I can make sure that they go to the private schools or hire a security guard. It's, I'm gonna be there. Now, if my work happens to take me away, well, we're gonna talk about that and you're gonna know what's going on, and we're gonna make something happen where I'm there as much as possible. But my first duty is to make you secure here, right? To let you know that I'm going to be there, and that me getting you pregnant, I'm not leaving these kids for you to raise by yourself, because they need their daddy too. So part of being alpha is not just how much you can sling and how many women you can get. It's about the woman that you can be there for, the family that you can take care of, and not just monetarily, but in other ways as well. That's real alpha. You want to know what a real alpha is? Look at his wife and kids. And if he's got the respect and the safety, they know that they're safe with him, that's how you know you got a real alpha there.
I'm not going. I agree with that last statement, but I'm not calling Nick Cannon alpha. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm not talking about a specific person.
I didn't call Nick Cannon alpha. I just said I don't disagree with what he did, or what, how he's moving. I don't disagree, but I'm not saying he's alpha.
Well, based on your example, you did make him one, because you literally said that if you spread, like you said, if he's taking care of his woman, he's smashing and he's taking care of them and providing and protecting in that way financially. You said, your words, not mine, you said that then that's good, that's cool. And that's the pushback that I was having, right?
I didn't say he's alpha. Go ahead, Penny.
That's that leading I was telling y'all about on how do I look different. Like I think like it's levels to it. Like it's got to be levels to it, because the way that people think about what makes an alpha male, what is leading, who's taking care of the household in what way, and what that looks like is different. So it's definitely levels to it, and that's why I don't think people should get so stuck up on this alpha or beta, or if a man is doing this, then that means he is alpha. If he's not, if he's leading in one area, leading you, in a spiritual way, but he's not there financially, then he's not alpha. Like, I think people should stray away from that and just let people find their own alpha in their own way, instead of you guys putting that on each other. But I think males put that on to each other way more than females do. And then when females gravitate toward it and they start putting their own perspective of what's an alpha male, then males have a problem with it, because now they're putting their own perspective. No, he got to lead this way. oh, if he don't got no money, he not doing this, then he not an alpha male. So females start to get it, misconstrued too. And then now we have this whole big, society of what an alpha male is. Oh, he a man with money, or he got to be, be able to, I don't have to work, and he can just take care of me, things of that nature. That's why I think it's dangerous to go down that road and say, what a man should be or not be to be an alpha. I do agree that, it's all in how he take care of the people around him. So I do agree with that. But I think it's more on like just having morals and a good character. But I think focusing on like what an alpha male is, I think men are going to tear each other down, and then women are going to tag onto that and tear men down too.
You think that men tear other men down as in relation to, well, I'll put it like this.
Alpha
For me,
alpha and not alpha, yeah. I think
yeah,
so.
well, I only position it as so that everybody can have a point of reference, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't like the word, that's fine. However, the overall premise is this person, this man, doing what he needs to do to make sure that his wife and his kids are taken care of?
Oh, you're talking about
Does he
mechanic.
have
I was just talking
integrity?
about in general, not
No.
not.
I'm talking about men in general. Since if the word alpha is a trigger word for some people, I'm saying I use it as a pen to a base to kind of talk, right? So, the men that have character, high character, integrity, morals, these are individuals that women should be looking toward. And men should be trying to become. There's a couple others, obviously, vision, setting a plan and things of that nature. But as Prototype was saying, that women don't typically look at men that way. They're typically looking for his finances. They're typically looking for, does he have swag? They're typically looking for things that will not benefit them in the long run. How do we know? Is because of the single mother syndrome that we have. Because women are allowing dudes to impregnate them right now for sure, and without the qualifications of being their husband or a really good significant other, so to speak. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to communicate. So as we get to the next topic, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, that's what I mean. People are playing phone. You know how they play phone? I tell you the conversation, you tell the conversation. They're playing phone with that word. It's not that it's a trigger word. It's just that it becomes now something else. When you say like a man should lead in your eyes, like, on the panel, everybody's like, okay, we know what leading is. Leading is doing this. But then when it goes from one person to a next in society, and women are getting younger and, trying to get that alpha male, then their perspective of what that means gets misconstrued. And now it's like, oh, I want a man that's a leader. Oh, he can lead. He don't have no money. He must have money. He must have this to lead. So I think you should focus, society should focus more on the moral and the character of a person than steady, consistently saying an alpha male would do this, an alpha male would do that. Because when you put a man up against that, and he might have a plan to do one thing and it doesn't look like what people are telling you it should look like. He should have a plan. He might have, dreams and ambition, and he don't know how he's going to get there, but he does. And if somebody tell you like he's not a man then since he don't have a plan, that's going to make you rethink to yourself, like, okay, do I have a man or do I not have an alpha male? Is he a man? Is he a real man? Does he really have direction? Is he not going anywhere because he doesn't know how he's going to get there? He's trying to figure it out. But that's just, the point that I
Can I ask you this question? This is the thing, and I really understand what you're saying, but the pushback as we use that word is that men know how to tell men how to be a man. That's why it's so important for a man to be in the household, because for a woman to tell a boy how to be a man, that she can't do that. So to tell me what I'll do, to tell me that I shouldn't tell my son or tell Sir Hale or Brandon or Prototype that, like, listen, you're not being a man right now. Like, that's my job to do.
Well, not a man. I'm not saying not a man. I'm saying an alpha male.
Well, I'm saying, even if I say Prototype, when I was questioning Prototype, he had his own particular perspective. Me and Sir Hale have disagreed before too. And so it is for a man to challenge another man for him to be better. So if I'm telling Prototype, listen, what you just said was a contradiction, then I should be telling him that, because I am a man and I know that it's important for us to always have a streamline of our thoughts, of logic. Logic has to always connect, right? So even if he has his point and he stays on his point, that's fine. But I supposed to hold him accountable as being a man and being his homie as it relates to being on the panel. So and man, I wish I could get to this question. That was a question that my wife gave, was like, where do you see women holding other women accountable? Because if you're not willing to say what you're doing is wrong, lady, then how can a woman get better? If I'm
I
not willing to
definitely
tell
agree
someone,
people should hold people accountable, and you should, anyone that you talk to, really. So I agree with that as well.
so
I do
then
it all
that's
the
what I'm
time.
saying. So then I got to be able to tell. Go ahead, Ash,
Yeah, I've been trying to
and
cut
we'll
you
wrap
out,
it
but I
up.
do it all the time.
No,
You
you're good. I
know,
was talking a long time.
especially with my friends. Like when I see things that I know that go against what I stand for, or something that I find questionable, I call them out on it, because at the end of the day, how I'm going to be your friend and I'm just letting you out here running around loose? Because they always say, birds of a feather flock together. But so if we flocking together and you doing some questionable stuff, hey, I got to call you out on that. Like my friend made a post like a couple of weeks ago. I was like, hey, you got my name in this post. I don't like it. Either you remove my name or you can take it down. So the post went away, because at the end of the day, I feel certain things shouldn't be posted for social media. I don't care if it's clickbait or you just expressing yourself. Because at the end of the day, we all need to start representing something better. And me being a mom, I take that job seriously, very seriously. So when my name is attached to certain things, hey, you either gonna respect me as my own person and remove my name from it, or you going to respect us both and remove it because it's not representing us both in a good light. Like sometimes I think as women, we want to uphold the bad behavior just because it's a good time, but we also need to come back and be able to check each other and be like, look, hey, this is a good time or whatnot, but this can't continue. But I think a lot of it is just women wanting to be not the bad person in the crowd, be like, hey, we shouldn't do this. It's like, okay, just roll with this good time and not hold these consequences, because at the end of the day, all of our actions got consequences, and that's just my standpoint on it. If we friends and you doing something that I'm not in alliance with, I'm gonna have to call you on it. I don't care where we at. That's the same way I deal with my children. Like when we out and about, you acting up, we're gonna settle that right there, because I don't want you to think that it's okay when we go in the public, you can demonstrate this type of behavior and get this type of reaction. Because at the end of the day, they're looking at not just you, they're looking at me too.
Well, I do have ratchet friends, so I don't know.
I didn't say mine wasn't ratchet. I just said it wasn't ratchet, because that's the stuff that went on a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I'm not that person on the panel just like, I don't know no girls like that. Oh, I do.
I'm not saying I don't have them, because we cut up. I
do.
can't lie and say that's not something that went on in my story that we weren't cutting up. I'm just saying it's like certain things that when I know, like if I don't post stuff like that and you put my name on it, we finna have a conversation about that. That's right then and there. Because to me, it's just, now that I do have daughters, I'm not saying that I don't get out with the twerking. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that certain things I don't want my name attached to, because that's not in my character. Like certain things I deal with in the house, and that's where it stays. It may be an inside house joke. That's where it's going to stay. It's not a public thing. And when we start making certain things that belong inside the house public, that's when we kind of got a problem. That's why we got sort of all this chaos. That's what's wrong with this internet society now. In my eye, is like the things that should be taken care of home is being taken care of in the social media world, where it shouldn't be. That's just like I said, that's just my opinion on it, because I was raised very old school and I had a whole bunch of older people around. It's like what goes on in the house stays in the house, and we all were able, and we still are able to call each other on what we do wrong as an adult, because as adults, we still like kids trying to figure it out. Like I said, I don't have this single parent thing mapped out in agreements, but hey, I know what this A didn't always lead to C. So sometimes let's go ahead and try a B or a B1 or a B2 to get to C. It's just, to me, it's just like a lot of times I don't think women, we hold each other accountable on anything. Like, it's a certain behaviors that we do that I know they friends ain't saying something about.
I was going to say, because where are all these girlfriends coming from? Because I don't know no females that don't have no friends that need, correction and don't do things that, people find. But everybody always on the panel like, I don't hang with them girls. I'm like, well, they hanging with somebody. I know they hang with me sometimes. So I'm confused. And y'all don't have no friends like that. Like, I'm confused.
I do apologize. Sometimes I am their friend.
Oh, wow. All right, we're gonna wrap this up right here. Okay. The last question, and everybody doesn't have to answer, but whoever wants to can answer. The reason why I posed the question of women control access to marriage is because they control the dating market, and they also get to say yes or no as well. And so, as y'all talked about, women want alpha males. That's the terminology that we're using, right? And there's not that many of them. This is interesting. However, and they all want the same guy. So that means that there are going to be guys left out. So my theory is that women seem to be controlling access to marriage now as opposed to before. What say you?
I say they are, because back in the day, it was the man had certain things and the women went after. But today's society, I say it is women, because when you look at women, you're telling other women, hey, this man got to have this, this, and this. And that comes from the grannies, the aunties, the mamas. That comes from everybody. I see you over there shaking your head. I know you don't agree, but I have my opinion. But I just feel that it is.
Is it safe for me to just? I'm just shaking my head because it's interesting. So it's not to this is not to go against what you're saying.
But I'm just saying it. To me, the dating market, it has changed. Like, I don't know if anybody else has noticed. It's like women are setting this standard, but a lot of these men are not going to meet that standard. Like Sir Hill was saying, there's a lot of men that just come home, they want to drink their beer, and that's it, And then there's a lot of them that want to drink the beer, get the plan together, and then that's the next step. But at the same time is that we get so focused on getting this alpha male that we're missing out. I can attest to it. You're missing out on a good man because you're trying to focus on what society say, and that what society say may not go with your household. You may not need that particular alpha male because that doesn't work with your lifestyle. You're just going with it because somebody else put that plan in front of you.
I'd like to chime in as well. So now I'm definitely going to disagree. That is capitry. Women do not control access to marriage. A lot of women today aren't even marriageable. Like, if I look at women today, women give up sex real easy. There's no mystery. All you gotta do is get her tipsy. All you gotta do is, for someone, buy her a Happy Meal, super size, get some cheese on it, some extra pickles on the side, maybe a shake or something like that. And as soon as she feeling some kind of way, she giving up the cookies. It ain't even no more work anymore. So the mystery for that is gone. Men are seeing this now because sex used to, in some way, be an incentive to say, this girl cold. And if she's going to be a decent girl and she ain't giving this away, I want to lock this down because along with what I want from her, she's a good woman as well. So you take away the mystery, women giving it up. And then women, like we were talking about holding women accountable. Here's the other part about holding women accountable. So let's say Ash sees one of her girlfriends, or Penny, because Penny being real about the friends. Let's say she does hold her sister accountable. Well, a lot of women can't hear. They have to feel like they're wrong. And if they don't feel as if they're wrong and feel as though what they're doing is off, you could give her a video tape of her doing wrong. If she don't feel it's wrong, you're going to be spending weeks trying to convince her to see something that she just refused to see. So men are seeing this, and men are saying, I don't want to get married. There is no way I am going to lay my life down on the line, because this is what alpha males do. I'm not about to lay my life down for a woman who don't listen. She won't even listen to her sisters, won't listen to her girlfriends. She don't even listen. Let's be for real. A lot of these women, Christian women, don't even listen to God. There is no way I'm about to put myself in this situation for a woman who don't listen to Jesus, don't listen to Father, Lord, don't listen to mother, grandmama, sister. She won't even listen to police if she get angry enough. He is not about to put himself in danger and risk his plan with a woman who is liable to obstruct his path to success. So no, women don't control access. Really what it is women are losing access to marriage because they don't have the character it takes to be some man's wife in 2023.
What a
I
bar.
agree.
Who got
That was
next?
good.
Go ahead, Tamia.
Me. So hearing both perspectives actually like switched my answer a bit. I was gonna say that women are in a sense controlling access to marriage, but after hearing Sir Hale, I think what's actually happening is that women are beginning to like understand more that they have to, I don't know, structure their situation to get proposed to. Like if you go on social media now, if you see it, it's literally like guidelines of like what you should be looking for. Go on this date, go to this type of hotel, go to this place to find this kind of man. So essentially we are still seeking, it's just, it looks different, you know? And then when we get to that male, it's even on TikTok, like, or wherever it is, it's like how to really show yourself as a feminine woman so that a man would want to propose to you. Because that is a thing that's lacking. Like it is really lacking on how a woman should present herself to be a wife or to, you know, present herself to be fit to get proposed to. Yes, it's really hard these days because just generally the concept of marriage is slightly withering. It's starting to come up again. You're seeing a lot of weddings, you're seeing a lot of marriages and proposals happening again. But a lot of society today does not see the value in it. So I think a lot of women are noticing like, oh, if I want to be married, I have to put that on the table and I have to present myself that way so that I can get proposed to. But men are still in control because at the end of the day, he still has to pop that question. He still has to pop that question. But I think women are trying to now go backstage and wire it up so that they're presenting themselves to further encourage that man to marry them, as opposed to when I think, if I could be wrong, but back in the day, it was more so like this man is sitting there thinking and just you naturally being yourself, he wants to propose. Now I think women are actually making an effort to show themselves I'm fit, as opposed to the man just noticing for themselves and wanting to propose to you. I think they have a bit of a
I got one pushback to that. So what do you
shit
got to
happening.
say about the women that's not proposing, the women that are taking the knee?
Women that are taking the knee, honestly, I can see myself doing it. So I mean, I have no, you know, to
Kudos to
each his
them, right?
own.
Get your knee
Kudos.
back.
I feel like Penny mentioned her mom asked, you know, for marriage. Me personally, just being 100% honest, I want a man to propose to me. I'm traditional. I believe that is how it should be done. That is where I would feel most valued and most like excited about it. Just me personally, my preference. If I was to do it, I don't know. I feel like I'm rushing it because I just feel like it's a man's duty to decide that, because you don't want to marry that man if he's not ready to be married. I don't want to marry that man if he's not ready to be married, and I might ask at a time that he's not ready. And then you get a husband that isn't ready to be a husband. While there is, you know, growth and stuff like that, but essentially when a man asks you to marry him, he has sat down and said, I want to be a husband. I am done with the streets. I am ready. And that's when I want to marry. That's when I wanted to marry my husband. I don't want to assume because my clock is ticking. Not saying that's what your mom did, Penny, but a lot of women are just like, no, I'm ready now. Like now clock's ticking. Do it now. That's not what marriage is for me. It's like, no, we feel like we're at a place. He sat and thought about that. So that's meaningful. So I'm not really on the train for getting on that knee. But again, to each his own.
So not on the train and not on the knee. Anybody else want to add to this?
I could talk about this for days. So somebody's probably want to go. I'm just saying. So it's just ironic the world we live in. We would have a woman say, "I want a man to be an alpha man," but I think I might take the knee. I think I might actually. I think I might be the one to propose to this man, but I want an alpha. No, like here. So let me say this. So over the last couple years, we have been having this debate on who's the prize. Women are the prize or men are the prize. If we're talking about what a real alpha is, the truth is, and I'm probably going to have some people hate on me for saying this, women are the prize. Doesn't mean that men aren't the prize. Doesn't mean that men don't hold that value. But real men, we see a woman is that source of inspiration, that the reason we're putting you on that ring on your finger is because you've done something to show us that we could find another coach. We could find another something to stick something in. But in terms of the woman you are and what you do for me, I ain't found that nowhere else. So you made me get on a knee and propose to you, because I would rather be embarrassed at proposing and you saying no than regretting me not proposing and me losing you. So women are that prize. But if women don't present themselves as that prize, you don't get a man to claim you. That's what we do. We claim prizes, and that's what that ring is. And in today's world, a lot of women don't conduct themselves that way. And this is why I say women don't control marriage. They control their value. And if a woman squanders her value, then no man is going to come to redeem that.
I absolutely agree, man. You kind of went on that, man. But I agree, like women are the prize, but I feel like men are the champions to win those prizes. You know what I'm saying? So
I like that.
That's just kind of how I see it. We win over and over. So alpha men are champs. You know what I'm saying? And we hoist that trophy like, yeah, we got one. But like Sir Howell said, they're not worth. I'm not competing for that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, who wants that? I'm not competing for it. So yeah.
And I just want to say, yeah, my mom, she's a monopoly. Like, she's like, that's her situation working out today probably is 0 to none. That would never work. Her situation would never work. If you try to, put it up against, the situations today, it would prove a lot of things wrong. One, it would prove that men don't marry women with that many children, and they do. He married my mom. She had 5 children. He didn't have any.
Beta.
So, you could say that too, right? You could say whether he's a beta or not, which is curious, whether or not you guys would consider my dad a beta. He's taking care of all my mom's children. She doesn't work at all. He pays all the bills. He makes sure that we were all provided for. We respect him. We respect him in some situations more than my mom. If, whenever he goes against my mom goes against him, we stand up for him. So the respect is there. He's respected by his family. He's respected by everyone around him. He provides for everyone around him. He provides for his grandchildren. He watches his grandchildren. And so if you were to say, and they've been married for 30 years, so, and she proposed to him. So I think, if you want to say that's a beta male, then, like I said, it is what it is.
It was just joke.
No, yeah, seriously. As far as the things that he does,
there are some people that do.
They would say that.
But think about this for a moment. To say that a person that takes care of somebody else's kid as beta is weird. The reason why is because they are taking on a responsibility that they don't have to. So case in point, I lost my wife, right? My late wife, Jen. Okay. I have 4 children. So, but now I have a new wife who's willing to be a mother to my 4 children when she has one already out the door or going out the door, right? She's 21, about to be 22. Okay. And so that's a high esteem. We also, if we look back for those that's anything about the Bible, Joseph would be considered a beta. You know what I'm saying? And he did a lot to raise Jesus. You know what I'm saying? He almost was like, yeah, that's what he's like, I can't do this. But then he was like, okay, this is something is bigger than me. So the beta aspect of taking care of somebody else's kid, it all depends on, I see you, sir. It all depends on like what is going on. Is the guy just there just to be there? Or is he actually taking responsibility? Go ahead, Sir Hale.
Now, humble dad, now you You humble dad. But when we compared Mary, we're talking about somebody who didn't sleep with somebody. Like Joseph was going to leave her because he thought like she had slept with somebody, and it was only until the angel, like God had to because God knew the game. God knew the game, and so he had to send an angel down to let Joseph
That's a
know.
fair statement.
You see what I'm saying?
That's your guy to talk something directly. Hey.
Yep.
Did you see me concede prototype?
Yeah. So, but here's the other part though. Like humble dad, you made a point. So, and I think you made a point that I agree with, but it's nuance to that. So, when we talk about alphas, and what separates us from animals is our consciousness, our ability to think at a higher level, at a higher vibration than animals. But if we take alpha, like in its original context, you don't see lions adopting step lions, right? Like when it's time to transition power, like the lion gets rid of those, like the alpha gets rid of it because he doesn't want to intermingle anything else. You see what I'm saying? So like this is what I'm saying. This is why it's difficult when we start talking about alphas, because alphas move and do stuff that's really, if you look on the outside to those who are not the beneficiaries of it, it looks real cruel. It's like, man, like they don't play any games and it don't matter who get left out. If you're not part of this tribe, I don't want nothing to do with you. If you're gonna be under my umbrella, you're gonna be under my umbrella under my terms. So that's what I'm saying. This is why it's hard to have that alpha conversation. Because if you're looking from a place of love, and I don't personally agree with the man taking on stepkids if he doesn't have to, unless he has kids of his own, and she will also have stepkids. So I think there's some differences. But there is something
also
to
add to that. Say, but I'm gonna go ahead and say what you're gonna say. Yeah, for sure.
I do think that there is something to be said about a man who's willing to love kids that are not his own. Forget the wife. Just thinking about the kids who wouldn't have had that male presence otherwise, I do think that there is something to say about a man's character who's willing to love, and then to not really just love and love them like stepkids, but like love them like these are his own kids, knowing that there might come the day where the kids might say, "You're not my daddy, like you're not my real daddy." It is something to be said about what you said, HD. But I think that's what separates humans from animals, is we can think on that level and love beyond our instincts.
Yeah, and Brandon, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, the only thing I was gonna add on to it is the line analogy that you use, which I generally agree with. The only thing I would say is that the reason they kill the cubs is because if they're not dead, the moms ain't gonna go in the heat, so they ain't gonna get none. So that's why they kill them. And I kind of put that to the point of like women who have kids come into a relationship who over prioritize their kid to the detriment of their new to their new husband. I will equate that to be kind of the same. Like there are women, or I would hope there are women out there who have kids who understand that like this is my kid, but this is also my husband, and my husband comes first. And then there's also women that we've seen, through clips on YouTube and what have you, who will argue they man down to take their son's side, even when the son is like going crazy, like completely in the wrong. And I think that story right there is a lot of why a lot of men do not want to go into that stepfather role, because of that possibility.
Such a great point, bro. Such a great point.
That's what I was gonna say. And so for me, that's what I did. I gave Kendra full autonomy to be their mom. You know what I'm saying? Whatever that entails, we working as a team. I'm not gonna tell you that you can't correct my kid. That don't even make any sense to me. So this has been good. Hopefully y'all have enjoyed it. Y'all always be on the Pentecostal tip, you know what I'm saying? But hey, it's your time, so I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Don't forget to check out Sir Hale on his podcast. Do y'all go live or what? Sir, where y'all at?
Yes, sir. Live Sundays, some Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. We do the thing, and I would love to see all of you guys here. But tonight is not about me. Everybody who's watching from the Sir Hale Speaks Network, please do me a favor. Go over to Humble Dads Network, hit that subscribe button. This is one of the most respectable men that I know. Not only humble, but very smart and astute, and engages everybody in the conversation. That makes us all better. So show some love, hit that like button. We're gonna subscribe to Humble Dad, and we're going to get him to 1,000 subscribers, because content like this deserves it. I appreciate you, HD.
Appreciate you, homie. And we got to do couples thing. I keep you posted on that. Brandon, where you at, bro? How can they find you?
Yeah, man, y'all can find us on YouTube. Where we drop a podcast every Wednesday. The Buffet Pod. It's me and my lady just talking relationships and dating every week. Come holler at us. We are also on IG
That's
at
good
the
stuff
Buffet Pod.
too.
I appreciate you
Y'all have
saying
some
that.
good clips. Go check out some clips. I mean, the main one the one that I saw is what, almost at 100,000.
Wait, the one the very first one, it's, I think
Yeah.
1.2 mil right now. It's 1.2 right now.
Oh, okay, my bad. I apologize. I wasn't trying to rain on no parades. All right, that's a bet.
Put some respect on my
And
name.
Penny's antisocial, so I'm gonna just say thank you for coming, Penny. You know, Prototype on you.
Man, Prototype Dad, YouTube, Spotify. We're a little bit of everywhere, man. Come check us out. Talk about some good topics on things men think about, man. I think tomorrow we're going to talk about what would we need to go back to Africa, that kind of thing, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I know, right? So man, come check us out, man. We got mad topics, man.
Yeah, for sure. Please do go check out Prototype. Miss Tamia, where can they find you?
Hello, you can find me on TikTok, Instagram at the Coach Mia, as well as I have a link tree there to my YouTube channel as well.
That's a bet. Ash,
You can find me on Instagram, 360.diva. I cook, talk crap, all the above. That's where you can find me. My favorite.
as long as you don't put no crap in your cooking.
Oh no. Good Southern cooking. I cooked yesterday. That's why I'm tired too.
That's what's up. Well, I appreciate y'all. Until next time, we out here. Deuces.
The boy is dangerous.
Bad feeling about this.
You don't seem to understand something.
The thing that I like most about being a dad is that I see that I'm about to impact the world.